Hello and welcome back. Um, now that we have learned a little bit more about the complexities of implementing computerized vision systems in a macro environment like a city or, in order to support transportation safety, it's, as Madan alluded, time to dive into some of the more nitty gritty details of another important idea around computer vision, and that's protective technology, security technology, biometrics in particular. We're going to examine how current systems have limitations that don't allow for accurate identification and what can be done to improve those current methods. Sumeg Tarawal is an associate professor in the School of Advanced Computing at DBS Global University. He boasts over 13 years of experience in research and academia, with significant focus in the fields of blockchain, biometrics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, pattern recognition, and image processing. He has over 40 publications across a number of well known publishers. And with that, I want to put the spotlight on Dr. Sumeg so he can walk us through and into his world of biometrics. You're on mute.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction. So let me share my screen. Directly I can present.
You can navigate to the PowerPoint. I think it's already open. You're
Yeah,
already.
yeah, sure. Now it's visible.
Yes, it's visible. We can all see what you're going to present.
Yeah. So thank you once again for providing me this opportunity and to be part of this wonderful event. So already my introduction is done. So let me start with my presentation. So today I'm going to deliver a talk on recent advancement in multimodal biometric system. So what happens nowadays? Biometric is very trending and demanding because we talk about the AI and the computer vision. So with regards, the biometric is also plays a very important role whenever we talk about the identification as well as recognitions and the verifications. But what happen nowadays? Only people are utilizing the unimodal biometric. That means that only one modality we are supposed to be like your fingerprint we are using, and we are identifying someone. So the unimodal biometrics having a lot of drawbacks or loopholes, where we can say that it depends on a single source of the evidence. Because suppose I am putting my finger on the machine, and if I if my finger is damaged, then what happen? The system will not recognize me. So we'll see what are the recent advancement in the technology of the multimodal biometrics and what are the challenges, opportunities, and we also discuss about the different biometric traits. In this diagram you can see there is a palm print, there is a facial recognition part, your iris, and a lot of things. So this is the contents of my presentation. So we'll start with what is the biometrics, means layman can understand what exactly the biometrics and the biometric traits. Then we'll talk about the multimodal biometrics. We'll also discuss about why we require multimodal biometrics, as well as nowadays a 3D biometrics is more popular. So there are some drawbacks again with the 2D biometrics, and we'll talk about the physiological, behaviorological biometrics as well as the fusion types, and lastly we'll discuss about the application of the biometrics. So without wasting the time, we'll directly start the part that is the biometrics. So you can find a lot of definitions of the biometrics on the internet, but it's a very simple kind of a definitions where we talk about the biometrics. So biometrics is a combination of two different words. It's a Greek word actually. Bio means life, and metrics means measure. So we are measuring the life, means not a life, but the human life, where we talk about the patterns and the features which is available in human bodies. We talk about the fingerprint, we talk about the palm print, iris, and so on. And whenever you born, so up to your entire life, the patterns, the features are changing. And this is also the challenging part where we recognize someone. So how we can define the biometrics? So biometric will refer as a, it is a one kind of automatic identification of a person which is based on their physiological or behavioral characteristics. So I would like to add one more thing in this definition, that is a chemical attributes. So to identify someone using their characteristics, So the characteristics mainly physiologicals. In the physiological characteristics, we have the fingerprints, we have the palm prints, we have the retina, iris, and we talk about the behavioral characteristics. So basically, it comes under the category of style of walking. That is a gait. That is one thing. Another is a keystroke. So everyone is having a unique kind of a keystroke whenever we are typing something using the keyboard. And one more thing that is add on, that is a chemical characteristics. So in the chemical characteristics, we have the odor and the DNA. So the combination of physiological, behavioral, and the chemical, and to identifying someone, so that is referred as a biometrics. And we talk about the biometrics, it's again we are verifying, identifying the individuals using their biometric traits. We require biometric trait, their biometric data. Also, it is a one kind of a science and technology where we are measuring the statistically as well as biological data, and which is having the unique patterns, and which is unique patterns is available in every individuals. And this is again the combination of hardware and the software. Means if we want to design and develop a biometric system, so that time we need an integration of the hardware part as a sensor part, and software part where we can utilize MATLAB, your Python, or your OpenCV, lot of things where people are utilizing machine learning algorithms like principal component analysis, then your dynamic time wrapping, MFCCs, and ICP, iterative closed set point. So this is basically the biometrics. And what are the traits which is available in the biometrics? Because we only heard about the biometrics comes into your mind, so that directly we can discuss about the fingerprint. But apart from the fingerprint, there are a lot of biometrics traits which is available, like your facial recognitions, your iris, your hand geometry, your retina, your speaker based recognitions, your signature based recognitions, palm print, your hand vein, your DNA, your thermal imaging. It also plays a vital role. Whenever we suffered from the COVID scenario, directly on the basis of the thermal imaging, people can not only identify and recognize, but also we can measure directly the temperature or body temperature of that particular individuals. Also, the ear shape. Ear is also very beautiful kind of a biometrics whenever we talk about the features and the patterns. So it how will go further in throughout the presentations. Then body odor, then keystroke and the dynamics. Also we have the finger nail bed. And when I was a part of this multimodal biometric system design and development government of India project, so we'll also combine the heartbeat. Can your heartbeat makes your password? Means everything is theptable, but your heartbeat is not theptable. So we did a lot of works using the heart rate variability can be make as your password. So I will discuss these things within my presentation. So again, why we require a biometric basically, and why nowadays biometrics is more popular? Because you can consider that you have the Instagram account, you have the Facebook account, you have the LinkedIn account, Gmail account, Orkut account, Twitter account, lot of accounts you have, and it's very difficult to remember your each and every password. So instead of that, you just make your fingerprint as your identity and a password, and directly you can access your different kind of accounts. So that's why it's very popular where we talk about the biometric, because it's very complex kind of a scenario when we talk about the too many passwords, and passwords can be stolen, forgotten. And for the protection in the financial terminology like banking or the medical sector, your data is very important, and we can provide the security using this kind of the biometric thing. And this is the how we can utilize the smart card. Also ATM nowadays people are utilizing as a biometric based identification. So the facts or the historical part. So what happened in the 14th century of the China? There was a mess for the public mess for the student as well as public, where they can go and there they can take their dinner or the lunch. To stop the duplicate or redundancy or repetition point of view, they utilize a simple biometric mechanism that time. And nowadays we are utilizing the biometrics, and 80% of the public record nowadays it has been a biometric. In India also, government was taken initiative, and they launched the Aadhaar program, that is UID. Everyone, every citizen of India is a part of this UID, where they donated their fingerprint, their facial part, their iris part, and using that unique identification number, people can having their own data. So in future we can identify person, we can utilize for the border crossing, theft identification, criminal justification, mugshot, a lot of applications where we talk about the biometrics. So what happened? the today's talk, which is totally depend on a recent advancement in multimodal biometrics. So what happens nowadays, people are utilizing only a unimodal biometric system, but there is a very huge drawback of the unimodal biometric system is that it depends upon a single source of the evidence. Like we can give the best examples as your fingerprint. Everywhere we can utilize the fingerprint as a daily attendance system in organizations. But what happens, suppose your finger is damaged, then your system cannot be recognize or identify you. But we can utilize a multimodal biometrics like face plus palm plus finger plus iris. So we are not depend on a single source of the evidence. And also the sensors is having a noisy data, some intra-class variations, some spoofing attacks. So we can avoid this kind of the scenario. And also nowadays people are utilizing the three-dimensional facial, three-dimensional ear mechanism, where 3D biometric is totally overcome the drawback of the illumination as well as the pose variation. This is the very biggest challenge in case of the two-dimensional biometrics, the occlusion, illumination problem. So this kind of a problem is totally we can solve using the three-dimensional biometrics. And where we talk about why we select ear as a biometric, because nowadays very less people are aware about we can utilize ear as a biometric, because we talk about the facial image as a biometric. So sometimes your expression is happy, sometimes your expression is unhappy. We also wear eyeglasses to the faces, we can do the different kind of makeup to our faces. So that scenario database is affected. But in case of the ear is a very constant biometric. At the age of the 8 to the 70 year doesn't change, it's a very constant. We doesn't wear any eyeglasses to the ear. And as per my knowledge, we can not, anybody is not doing any kind of makeup to the ear. So that is the beauty behind to ear chosen as a biometrics. And a lot of things where we talk about the different biometric traits. Each individual is having the unique features and the patterns, and we talk about the biometric traits. So basically each biometric traits having the good and very rich amount of patterns, where we can extract that patterns and we can match the features and then we'll recognize the person. So when we can talk about why the 3D biometrics, I already told you 3D will enhance the security part, it will enhance the feature point of view. It will also a very much robust, which we can deal and discuss about the security attacks, or the robustness is very high in case of the 3D. It will also more difficult to counterfeit or duplicate data in terms of the 3D. And 3D scanner will provide a high speed accuracies, and the occlusion and the illumination problems is totally recovered through the three-dimensional biometrics. And why multimodal, we already discussed about. We in unimodal biometrics, we depends on a single source of the evidence. So instead of that, we can utilize the multiple biometric traits, we can fuse together. And we can also cure regarding the non-universality, spoof attack, and other things. So in the biometric terminology, there is the three things is very important. First one is the recognition, second one is the identification, and third thing is verification. Most of the peoples are say that these three terms is the same, but it's not same. Because we talk about the identification, it's a one to many process. We talk about the verification is one to one process, and finally we conclude like we can recognize a particular XYZ person. So that is a recognition. So here is the scenario where the every country government is taken initiative, and they are capturing their images, basically biometric traits and the images for their identification purpose, border crossing purpose, passport control, and a lot of applications are there. So biometric traits we already discussed, like there is a physiological and behavioral. So physiological, we have face, fingerprint, hand, iris, and DNA. And behavioral is keystroke, signature, and voice. And one more thing that I told you, that is a chemical. So in the chemical, we are having the body odor and somehow the part of the DNA. So the combination of this physiological, behavioral, and the chemical characteristics or attributes and to recognize someone. So that is a refer as a biometrics. And multimodal biometrics, multi means more than one. So we here we can talk about more than one biometric traits or a modality, and we can mix up a fusion and we can identify a human being. So we'll start one by one. So we'll start with the fingerprint. So in the old scenario in India and the United States or some other European regions, very means in the 700 century or the 1100 century, we can say that peoples are not having the literacy, or they are not educated well manner. So they don't aware about there is no awareness about the technology. So that time they utilize, especially in India, we utilize fingerprint as a thumb impression, and using that
everyone is marked as their signature in the old scenario. But nowadays what happens, they don't know about the science behind to that. But now what happens, we are doing the same thing. We are having a sensor and we are putting our thumb impression and we are recognizing someone. Even though we talk about the newborn baby, it is having a 48 features in their thumb impression. It's a very rich kind of biometric traits where we talk about the different feature points. So every individual is having the unique in this earth and they are having unique patterns. So this is again the drawback of the unimodal biometrics system. In this picture you can see that the girl is just try to get access of her father's phone using the thumb impression. So if the father is applied the multimodal biometric scenario, in that case she will not able to take the access. Okay, so this is the fingerprint recognition device. It looks like it's your daily attendance system which is available in the organizations. And nowadays in mobile phone we are also utilizing this unimodal biometric system as well as the multimodal, and that time you are just giving your finger and the system is accessing. So we talk about the patterns. So there are 6 classes of the patterns: the arch, the tenet arch, left loop, right loop, bowl, and the twill loop. So there are some patterns which is available in your thumb impressions. So this is the diagrammatical representations where we can define the patterns which is available in the fingerprints. So the minutia is a very important part where we talk about the patterns comes into the picture in scenario of the fingerprint recognitions. So here you can see the detailed structure: crossover, the core, bifurcation, ridge ending, island, the delta, and the pore. So these are the patterns where we talk about to recognize the human being. And we are having this kind of the patterns in a binary digit like zeros and ones. So the patterns we utilizing for using the optical kind of a mechanism, the infrared light or the prisms which we can detect and capture. Again, in case of the fingerprint recognition, there is a two scenario. One is online fingerprint that we are utilizing by the sensor. Second one is offline. So we require an ink pad and we just take a thumb impressions and then we can recognize. So this is the feature extractor, capture image, enhance reach, extract minutia. Basically, in every case of the image analysis part, we apply or we are utilizing the pattern recognition and image processing concept. Like we are having the image pre-processing, feature extraction, matching feature and recognition. So here you can say that the capture image, then again we are having the enhanced ridges and the extraction minutia point where we can see the features which is available in the fingerprint. Then again this is the matcher where we talk about the speed and the performance minutia we are categorize, and one to one we can match the fingers patterns here. And we can talk about identification verification or identification authentication. So already I discussed about the verification. In the identifications we are just telling about the comparative analysis, who are you. It's a slower kind of a scenario. In the other words, the in other scenario, the authentication part where we can say that that is your verification, that is one to one comparison. It's a faster and scan one particular template. So security point also, it will also utilize using the fingerprint sensor. We can also like in the COVID scenario, using the pulse oximeter, the temperatures, the pulse, heartbeat sensors, and the your blood flow, we can also measure and detect this kind of the parts using the whenever we talk about the finger or thumb impression image. So using that, people are doing a lot of things, even the gender classifications, like which is the finger of that. Then the second thing is that is very popular, that is the facial recognition. So this is the general scenario where we talk about the facial recognitions, how it can be done. So basically we require image, so we are capturing the image using the cameras and the sensor. Then we find a face in the images and we extract the features. We store a particular template and we can compare the templates and declare the matches. So using the facial detection, Viola John's your hair cascade and facial recognition principal component analysis is very famous algorithm in machine learning. So where we talk about how it can be the challenges part and what is the scenario. So in the facial recognitions, there is also very much amount of challenge. But why it is more famous and popular? Because it doesn't need any physical interaction towards the user. So without taking any physical interaction, we directly capture the image and we can recognize the person. But and suppose you want to design and develop your own database for the facial recognition, so there is some suggestions for the IEEE and the NIST, and very robust way we can design and we can identify. Like suppose we decide 10 positions to capture the facial image straight towards the camera, 30-degree left, 30-degree right, up, down, close eyes, open eyes, with smile, without smile, with specs, without specs, with goggle, without goggle. So in such a way that we can capture the image. So next time, whatever the position is the person, we can easily identify. So the challenges in the facial recognition, this kind of the device, which is older device, which is available in the market, but nowadays using the mobile phone, your cameras, which is the different camera is also available. So the challenges part is how we can do the intra class and the pose variation part. And basically this we talk about the applications like for the mugshot verification challenges, where we talk about the automatical locate at the face, the illumination conditions, occlusion conditions, your expression, also the aging effects, because your childhood photo and now young age photo and the old age photo, it's having a lot of difference. So where we talk about the what are the challenges or the difficulties. So there is a identified similar faces, your head positions, illuminations, expression, aging effects, that is called as intra-class variability. So what is the intra-class variability and why it is going to be occur? So due to the different types of the scenario where we talk about the head poses, illumination conditions, expressions and all. So again, the interesting story, the question arises in your mind, like I am telling you, like every individuals in this earth are unique, but the twins looks like a same. So how we can differentiate? But the patterns and the features are very different. So here is the diagram or the picture is a twins, and again the father and son, there is some similarity appearance, but in a machine learning part or image processing part, we will generally focus upon the features and the patterns. So where we talk about the facial recognitions, so that is called as the golden triangle, the distance between the two eyes, the distance from eyes to the nose and nose to the mouth. So that is called as the golden triangle, and that golden triangle features we can utilize for the worst case scenario. If someone wants to do the plastic surgery, so that time he or she will not say, doctors, just please take my eye 3-4 inch from my nose, or 3 inch from the left side or right side, because it's a fixed part. So such type of the features and the patterns we are expect, and we can do a very crucial scenario, we can deal with the facial recognitions. So now here we can discuss about the intra-class variability. So a lot of poses, color brightness. Here you can see if you are having if you are living with your parents or in your relatives, if you are having a small kid, so it's very difficult to capture a very clean, clear and perfect image of a children or a kid. So here you can say that there is a lot of variations in the poses and expressions and the brightness also. So that is also the come under the category of intra-class variability. So this is basic algorithm where we talk about the facial image algorithm, the input image we are giving. Then there is a light compensation, skin color detections, your variation based segments, your component and grouping. Then we can say that the face localizations, then eye and the mouth detections, face bounded detections, verifying the eyes and mouth triangle. So this is what I am trying to telling you about the golden triangle, distance between the two eyes, eyes to the nose and nose to the mouth. So that is the golden triangle. It will never change. Just be remember always. So now what are the limitations where we talk about the two-dimensional biometrics? Let us see examples we can consider as the facial image. So there is a lightning conditional effect, there is a head orientations, there is a image quality effect, there is a facial expression effect, there is a partial kind of occlusion, means someone is utilizing the hats, scarves and glasses. So what will be the result? This is not accurate and the biometrics will not give good results. So in case of the three dimensionals, we are having the good kind of a scanner where we are having a lot of features, will totally remove the part of the illumination and the occlusions is occurring. And again we are having some geodetic distance which we can measure, and we can recognize the human being, and it is totally good kind of scenario as compared to the two dimensional. Also ear as the biometrics, so ear is also having a lot of features. It's very constant at the end of the 8 to 70 years, and ear doesn't affect your expressions. We don't wear eyeglasses, we don't do any kind of makeup to the ear, and it's a very constant biometrics. It is having some local features, global features, approaches, geometric measurements, anthropometric measurements. Also this is the general structure of your ear. And again 2D versus 3D, the same things like illumination, occlusion, pose, illumination, sensor point of view, accuracy point of view, feature point of view. This is what I discussed with you, that how the ear is very constant and it's a permanent features. Okay, and there is one important aspect in this case. There is an anthropometric measurement or the ear photograph. So they will found that there is a no 2 years of one person is not the same, or even though we can discuss about the twins or triplets or quadruples, the years was different. And then again it is a separate kind of a biometric. It is not a part of your facial part, because facial is a different scenario and ear is a different. And then hand geometry. So it's many peoples are believe in the astrology, and they can say that using your lines available on your palm print, we can say that what will happen in the future. But we as a biometric researcher, we can say that using this three principal line is an important aspect in case of the palm print recognition. So we can recognize whose hands is this. So this is again one kind of interesting part. And then iris recognition is also very important scenario where we utilize in a high area securities. So in the iris we are having the pupils, the black lines and the boundaries. So it's also very good kind of recognitions and the matching. In case of the in iris recognitions, we are utilizing the index based matching. So retina recognition is also one of the prominent biometrics nowadays. Even you are utilizing your some iPhone is also providing the retina image captures is very good in terms of the data manipulation part. And there is one more scenario where some people is suffering from the diabetes like more than 10-20 years. So they will also having some kind of disease that is called as diabetic retinopathy. So in the diabetic retinopathy, retina identification recognitions, your fundus images, your coctus is also plays an important role. So also in the behavioral biometrics, we have the voice race recognitions, again the signature, handwriting, keystrokes. So voice recognitions, people are utilizing the microphone as a sensor, and they can recognize using different algorithms like MFCCs and all. And it's like Google Assistant, we can say that Alexa, Siri, it's somehow relevant with your recognition point of view. If you are providing your data, then that will recognize you as well. Even though home automations, people are providing the biometric voice based biometrics, but again it's some challenging parts where we talk about the, if you are having the cold and the fever, your sound is quite difficult, so the system will not identify you. So this is also one of the lacuna of the unimodal biometrics. So that's why nowadays people are moving towards the multimodal biometrics. So the signature verification, again it is having a two parts where we can say that online signature verification. So in that scenario we need a signature pad, and in offline scenario we need only a pen and the paper. And we can talk about the features and the patterns in a signature. So there is a x and y, we are having the graph, and the length of the signature, height of the signature, width of the signature, pen tip up, top up of the signature, the time taken by the person to complete the signatures, acceleration, velocity. Sometimes you are very happy, your signature is different. Sometimes you are very sad, your signature is different. So dynamic time wrapping is an algorithm where people are utilizing in case of the signature verifications. And keystroke, so many people is having their different command whenever they are utilizing the keyboard. Someone is utilizing only one finger, someone utilizing the two finger, three fingers, and so on. So keystroke is also one of the biometrics. And one more is your gait recognition, that is style of walking. And iris protection, suppose we are having the iris code and how we can recognize the person. There is also requirement of the scanner like this. These are the old iris scanner. Nowadays it's a very handy and very lightweight iris scanner which is available in the market. So iris code, how we can scan and what is the machine learning algorithmic point of view. So basic, this is the overview of the iris code system where we are having the image acquisition. So Cassia is a very famous and the popular database of the iris. Suppose we have the Cassia database as the image acquisition part. So what will the next steps is your iris localization is required in case of the age detection point of view. We utilize the canny age detection for detecting the ages. Then Dugman rubber sheet is a model where we can normalize the things and unwrapping the features and the patterns. Then also we are having the encoding using the Gabber filters, and then your Huffman distance where we require for the matching. And finally we'll take the decisions and we'll say that what will the index matching and index matching of this iris with the another iris which is available in the data set, and whose iris is this. Then there are some also challenges in terms of the improvements. Some people are suffering some diseases. So non-ideal iris images where the pupil dilations, where we can say that the pupil is important part in case of your iris. The eye rotations, someone is having continuously blinking of their eyes, so it's difficult to capture their images. Then inconsistent iris size due to some illness or due to some side effects. So the segmentation part, so is here we can say that detecting the pupil edges, detecting the iris edges, extracting. So this is how we can implement the and apply the canny edge detection after the algorithm, and how the images looks like of your iris in case of the segmentation part. Then advantages, it's a very high and highly and protected kind of a scenario, and very protected kind of organs, because your eye is very sensitive, and stability is very standard kind of a patterns, and it's a non-invasive, because relatively easy to be acquired. And the speed is in the case of the large database, we are having the templates which we can store and check. It's a good speed and cannot easily forge or modify. This is the main important part in case of the advantages parts comes into the picture. Then voice recognitions, I already discussed about the voice. You can utilize your Google based voice systems, like you are speaking and you are recognizing if you are already 10. So there is a speech recognition part where we can deal with the converting acoustic signals, capture the microphones, telephones, and set up the words and phonemes. And the speech processings, we are having the signal processing is also similar kind of patterns. Speech recognitions, basically we decode the sequence of the feature vectors, because what happens in image processing or pattern recognition or machine learning, every biometric modality we extract the features and they will produce a feature vectors, and that feature vectors we can utilize for the accuracy point of view, for the result and discussion point of view, for the recognition point of view. Also the semantic interpretation is also one of the meaning of the recognized words. So these are the important concepts in the case of the speech processing. Then dialogue management, there is also one kind of a phenomenon where people are utilizing dialogue management, where we can talk about the accomplish in response to the user, answer the user questions, give the further information, confirm the clarify the user, notify the invalid query, interface between the language processing components. Then call centers, people are utilizing the speech recognitions, automatic services, low payrolls, short time on hold, reduce the frauds and the forgeries. And finally, the last part of the presentations, like we talk about the multimodal biometrics. So in that scenario, we require a fusion of the biometrics. So in case of, like, we are plan to fuse face plus iris plus palm plus dorsal hand plus nail plus knuckle and so on, a lot of features. So there is a one common fusion techniques, that is a feature extraction in a fusion, where we talk about the sensor level fusion, feature level fusion, score level fusion. So the feature extraction level, where we are obtaining each and every sensor having their capture feature vectors, and that feature vector we can concatenate with the two vectors in a single new vector, and where we talk about the fusion. And that feature reduction techniques may be employed for the multimodal biometrics and fusion point of view. So this is the basic setup we require for the multimodal biometric systems. Here we can say there is a camera for facial image acquisitions. There is a hand geometry or palm prints, fingerprint. This is the one kind of oldest prototype of the multimodal biometrics. So nowadays we are utilizing HRV, 3D face, 3D ear, a lot of sensors. So this is, but we talk about the multi means more than one modality. So in this diagram, you can say that there is a one more than one modalities, and mechanism or the prototype is available for the multimodal biometric system. So again, we can talk about the matching score level. So each and every biometric traits will produce the score. So we can take the score in the feature vectors, and we can prepare a template vector, and these scores can be combined for this fusion point of view, and we can claim the identification part. Then again, there is a decision level fusion. So in this scenario, we are having the each sensor having the capture the multiple biometric data and resulting a feature vectors individually, so we can classify it into the accept or reject. In the biometrics, we are having the false acceptance rate, that is FAR, and false rejection rate, that is called as FRR. So suppose out of the 100, how much people is accepting the data, that is false acceptance rate, and how much people is rejecting that data, that is false rejection rate. A majority of the vote scheme can be utilized to make the final decision, that is the decision level. And again, fusion point of view, there is single biometric, multiple representation, single biometric, multiple matchers, multiple biometric fusions. So these are the some fusion biometrics, which are the some forms which is available. We talk about the single biometric and multiple representation. So this type of the fusions, which is involvement of the multiple representation on a single biometric. Okay. We talk about the second part, that is single biometric with the multiple matcher. So in this type, we can incorporate a multiple matching strategies in a matching model of the biometric system and combine the scores which is generated by the strategies. And third one is multiple biometric fusion. So in this part, we are obtaining the scores and multiple biometric scores we can integrate. So for this particular part, the majority voting and the sum product will rules we can utilize as the KNN classifier, your SPM, your decision trees, your Bayesian methods, and so on. And others is like store multiple templates in a database. For example, fingerprint system is having a store multiple templates of the user fingerprint of a same finger in his database. And when a fingerprint impression is supposed to be present, then what happens, system for the verifications, so it can be do the comparative against each of the templates which is stored in the database and match the score which will generate by this multiple matching or integrated scenario. So again, there we are having the systems may store a single template for the users where we talk about the finger, but acquire multiple impression of the finger during the verifications. And the third one is the another possibility where we talk about the acquire the use of the impressions of multiple fingers for every user. So this is again one of the scenario. And due to the time limits, I am just explaining very quickly and very fastly. And now we are on the final point at the of the presentation, because we expect some questions from the audience side. So I reserve my time for that particular scenario. So the finally in the conclusion part, we can say that what are the biometric applications where we are talking about the recent advancement in the multimodal biometrics. So the three scenarios very important. Number first is a forensics, number second is a government, and number third is a commercial. Whenever we talk about the forensic, so it comes under the category of the criminal investigation, terrorist identification. This is also a very challenging part nowadays. Parenthood determinations, your missing children identifications, and number second is government point of view, that is national ID card. In India also we are having the Aadhaar card, and in foreign countries are having their different words they are utilizing for their cards. Like in the Italian, they they refer as a permesso soggiorno, and USA there is a different scenario. So the correctional facilities, driver license, social security, welfare disbursement, border control, passport control, surveillance for the criminal terrorist screening point of view, and lastly the commercial part. So in this scenario, we have the computer network login, electronic data security, your e-commerce, internet access, your ATM, your credit card, to avoid the frauds and the forgeries in the financial sectors. Again, people are utilizing the blockchain in terms of, means we can fuse, people are fusing biometrics plus blockchain for the more security point of view. Physical access, personal digital assistance, medical records, distance learning, travel tourism, intelligent robots, filtering suspicious gamblers, VIPs, and the casinos. So I think I finish within a time or some 10 minutes I took extra. So sorry for that.
It's okay. It shows your enthusiasm for the field. And
Yeah.
we certainly got a comprehensive view of the current state of biometrics and the efforts you guys are taking to enhance the efficacy of multimodal, multi-factor authentication systems. So with that, if you have any questions, I would invite you to directly reach out to Dr. Sumeg. And thank you very much for attending this presentation. We're going to take a 5-minute break. 5 to 10 minutes, just give us a little bit of time. And we're going to prepare for the final presentation. After that, we're going to have a panel discussion. We'll see you soon. So Thank you again, Dr. Sumaj, and
Yeah, thank you.
we'll see you in the panel.
Yeah, thank you.